My name is Badia Rask, and I have 2 kids who are either at Grant or will be in a couple of years. I myself went to Grant, as did my father, and I was born and raised in the Grant community. I currently serve as the Vice President of the Grant High Boosters, and I go to a lot of the games, and so when my son became a freshman 3 years ago, I met Brian. Instantly, Brian and I just hit it off. We became friends right away. The kind of friend that you have like 4 or 5 in your life, he's like one of those. And so I've had a great opportunity to see what Brian's impact is on the Grant community, and this is what I'm going to tell you. So I can honestly tell you that he may be the athletic director, but he deeply cares about all students at Grant and knows them all by name. And they love him because they know he's deeply committed to their well-being. And as a booster board, we've never worked with an athletic director like Brian. He opens his home. He comes to the meetings. His energy is boundless. He gets in the trenches with us because his passion is improving the lives of all students at Grant High School. He's created this culture of excellence, I would say, at Grant that reaches way beyond the athletic field. And the result is that more student groups, greater student participation, increased parental involvement, and greater enthusiasm for the school. Unfortunately, Grant's leadership does not appear to be on the same page. I mean, take these grievances as an example. One thing they could do is come along, Brian, and say, let us help you. Instead, it appears they're using them as an excuse to let him go. And instead of freeing him up to let him do what he does best, which is pour his heart and soul into the building up of Grant High students, it looks like Brian has been set up to fail. But Brian Samore is the single most unifying, motivating, and inspiring administrator at Grant High School, bar none. There are countless examples I could give you. Last Saturday, we had our booster auction at Grant, and Brian was the only administrator who came. None of the vice principals came. The principal did not come. No other leadership outside of a couple of teachers. But this is the main event that raises support for their students. And when Brian came, he didn't just grab a plate and go sit down and eat. He walked up to every volunteer, shook our hands, and thanked us by name. And then he went to the student volunteers, shook their hands one by one, and thanked them by name. And when I saw that, I said, Brian Samore gets it. He doesn't just, thank you.
Thank you.
You want me to finish? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When I saw that, I said, Brian gets it. He's figured out one of the most important keys to life, and that is that life is about people. It's about loving, respecting, and treating all people the same, no matter what their background is. That's leadership that makes a difference. It would be a colossal mistake and a devastating blow to the Grant community if Brian Samore were let go. I humbly ask that his contract be renewed. The Grant community needs more people like Brian, not less. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Anders Wagstaff and Lily Sass.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you for letting me be here today to speak out in support of Brian Samore, the athletic director at Grant High School. I'm a very active community supporter, Grant High School parent of 2 kids with a 3rd child at Alameda Elementary, a youth coach, and a volunteer at Grant. Part of my willingness to commit so much time and energy has to do with the fact that Brian is not only such an ardent supporter of Grant High School and its student athletes, but also the level of care and concern he shows for every kid in the building. This was clearly represented by the fact that Brian was asked to give the appeal speech at the Grant Booster Auction just a few weeks ago. This is Grant's largest fundraising event and helps support a wide variety of extracurricular activities at Grant. The task of giving such a speech is only placed upon people who are respected and highly regarded in the community. Ironically, he was asked to deliver this speech one day after receiving his non-renewal notice from the district. Brian's role expands beyond athletics. When I volunteer each week at the College and Career Counseling Office at Grant, I get to see the energy and enthusiasm that Brian brings every day to his job. It's infectious. Brian appears frequently at performing arts events and sends a strong message for kids to participate in a variety of activities and sports. You see it in the way the kids and teachers interact with him. His involvement makes the overall Grant community much stronger. At no time is Brian's leadership more important than now as the school gets ready to transition to Marshall next year, as you guys know. So my relationship with Brian dates back to the first year on the job in 2014. We were in the process of building a middle school baseball league in our community, Grant Youth Baseball. Brian helped our team and the league gain access to the facilities at Grant to run our winter hitting programs. As lousy as this weather is outside, it's critical. In addition, Brian's commitment to youth athletics was further reinforced by supporting our local Wilshire Riverside All-Star team that went to the Little League World Series in Williamsport in 2015, doing the same thing, setting up these winter hitting programs, allowing these kids to get better. I want to touch on Brian's treatment at Grant over the past 3 years. It's my understanding that expectations for Brian's roles as AD have been set at such an unrealistic level that he, and indeed anybody, would be unable to meet them. The evidence speaks for itself. 5 of the 9 athletic directors in PIL this year were either non-renewed or chose early retirement. This is a staggering number that begs the question of whether we should focus our attention on the district athletic office and the unrealistic expectations they are placing on the ADs. Approximately 1 year ago, Brian was removed from his role at Grant for what appeared to be an administrative infraction, not a criminal matter. The punishment of being put on paid administrative leave not only seemed extreme, but unconscionable at the time. The community was completely in the dark and left to speculate about what happened. No meaningful correspondence was ever communicated by the administration or the district. Brian's reputation and all the goodwill and good work he had done for Grant was being denigrated in the media at a great cost to Brian, personally, and the Grant community. Once the dust settled and Brian returned to his role at Grant, the administration and PPS never communicated with parents in the community about the circumstances surrounding his removal. It's unacceptable. The timing of PPS's decision to not renew Brian's contract could not be worse.
So you're going to have to wrap it up, please.
I will.
Okay.
Choosing to disrupt strong leadership in a building at this time when Grant will be relocating to Marshall makes no sense. PPS tabled the decision to move Carol Campbell, its principal, to a different position for similar reasons. Furthermore, our middle school feeder programs for track, volleyball, basketball, and Grant Youth Baseball are just 3 years in the making. Having stability in the AD position is paramount to making sure that these types of youth programs continue to succeed. This change could significantly impact the success and hard work that has gone into putting this together. In conclusion, I am gravely concerned that PPS has lost its compass in doing what is right for kids in the community. Choosing to not renew Brian Samore's contract calls into question the wisdom and efficacy of PPS's efforts and the systems in place for evaluating its employees. As one of your board members said last week, the goal of this district is to have the best teacher in front of the kids. If that's the case, then Brian Samore is it. For all the reasons I've highlighted here today, I ask you to renew his contract.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Lily Sassy, and I'm here tonight to testify on behalf of Grant's Athletic Director, Brian Samore. I'm the student body president, and I'm very involved in the Grant community, but I'm going to be talking specifically about dance team, a sport that has been extremely underrepresented in the athletic world. Brian Samore has not only recognized our team and its members as a real sport and as real athletes, but he has also shown up time and time again, competition after competition, to support us and watch what we work so hard to accomplish, something that none of our other administrators have ever done. I have a statement from my coach, Brianna Williams, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight due to a work conflict. She says, "To understand, promote, and implement the idea that all are created equal is a challenging notion, but at Grant High School, in or out of the athletic world, no one has worked harder to apply this value to the student body than Brian Samore. Never in my years as a student or as a coach has any member of faculty seen my team as worthwhile athletes and artists like he does. Whether they are part of a sports program or not, Brian Samore understands that every student deserves to receive the best in order to be the best. His absence from Grant High School would be a serious injustice to the fight for equity that this city, state, and country so desperately needs and deserves." And from me, not only has Mr. Samore been an exceptional athletic director in the eyes of many, he has also been my mentor ever since he arrived at Grant. I can go to him for anything, knowing full well he'll be there to support me and offer advice. My little sister is heading to Grant next year and is going to be very involved in the athletic world. It was a huge relief to her knowing that Mr. Samore was going to be there, someone that is so involved with the community, such a positive influence, and who genuinely cares about Grant students. Now, in this big transition for the Grant community, she and many other young athletes are filled with uncertainty. He has played an integral part of my life in high school, and I know he has done the same for many others. Thinking about him leaving next year breaks my heart, and it would be a detriment to the Grant community. And I wrote all of this down, but I truly cannot express how much Mr. Samore has meant to me in high school, and how welcoming he has been, and how much better of a place Grant has been with him. So I would love it if you all could seriously reconsider his contract renewal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Richard Meadows and Lauren Ellis.
Am I gonna go first?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hi. All right. So I have this on my phone. I promise I'm not texting. Okay. Hi, my name is Lauren Ellis, and I'm a junior currently at Grant High School. I, along with my fellow peers and dance team members, are here in solidarity on behalf of Mr. Samore. I'd like to talk a little bit about myself first. I'm a dancer on the Grant dance team, like Lily, and I'm also involved in the leadership and sports marketing class. This means that I'm thoroughly involved with sports here at Grant, and that also means that I communicate and interact with Mr. Samore almost on a daily basis, which at this point, I'm sure he's tired of all of the questions that I have for him. But he never ceases to, sorry, I'm a little nervous here. But despite that, he never ceases to find time to tend to my concerns, and when he does, he makes sure to stop everything he's doing and treat me like, treat my questions as if they're the most important thing that he has going on at that moment, which I'm sure they're not. This is a trait that all athletic directors should have. So, to move on to dance team, I've been on dance team since freshman year, and no team at Grant is more underappreciated than dance team. We have absolutely no student section at any of our competitions, but Mr. Samore has made it his priority to consistently show up to every competition he can, and not only that, but he stands up and waves his arms with tears coming down his face, like no exaggeration. To see our athletic director move to tears by our dancing is more special than any student section. For an athletic director to care so much as he does, and to even and to come to our performances, is very, very meaningful. Mr. Samore cares so much about recognizing every sport, regardless of their popularity to the student body. He is the best athletic director Grant High School has seen or will see, and I can guarantee that there is no one else who will care as much as he does, work as hard as he does, or do his job as well as he does. I would be utterly devastated to come to Grant next year and not be there with Mr. Samore. Brian Samore is a perfect representation of the type of administrator that we need at Grant High School, and Grant would no longer be Grant without Brian Samore. He supports me in everything I do, and I would be ashamed of myself to not support him through this. Please consider the renewal of his contract. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay. Is there anybody else on this 5423? All right. Any board discussion on 5423?
Yes, I just want to say that, first of all, to have non-renewals and budget cuts in the same meeting is a soul crusher. This is the most difficult work that we have to do as a school district, as school board members, rather. And also just to respond to some of the comment, both from the people who are here testifying about the principal who's on leave, as well as Mr. Flagstaff, your testimony about lack of communication and lack of information from the district. This is what's really heart-wrenching about these situations, is that we are bound to confidentiality about personnel matters. And that makes this really hard, because Mr. Flagstaff, I understand all of these people who were here in the t-shirts. I mean, I understand how incredibly frustrating that is and how that feels to not have any of the information about these proceedings. But those protections are there for the employees themselves, but it doesn't make it any easier. So I guess I just wanted to offer that commentary.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Steve?